Hey, what's up, Faust? Yeah, I took a break. I had this quest in Desolus, you know, to get the Carnete. I can't remember how to say it. It was Carnerian's knapsack or somebody's knapsack. I must have killed like frickin' like 100 mobs before that damn thing dropped. It was like ridiculous. But I needed the XP to get to level 40, so we are now level 40. We've got complete new set of plate gear, you know. And I went with a really bizarre. I went for a few things that are a little bit unusual. I went for the ornate mithril pants to increase my dodge by 1%, and then I went ahead and grabbed a ring of eluding, which I think these rings are incredibly undervalued, especially for rogues. I went ahead and grabbed a ring of eluding, so we are actually pushing a dodge because of my boots of avoidance. We're actually pushing a dodge rate of 10.65%, so that's good. Add a load of evasion. And we couldn't find an eagle chest piece, so we're stuck with a bear chest piece. I put +3 all stats on it, but my health pool's a little bit lower than I would like it. Mana pool's okay, but it is what it is. But my armor, oh my god. I went from like 44% mitigation to 56.7. Holy crap, look at that. 56.7 mitigation versus physical. That's awesome. That's good. Can I get Goldthorn? I don't think I can get Goldthorn yet. Where's Goldthorn? Where is Gold? Where the fuck is the Goldthorn? Oh, here's right here in front of me. No, I still can't get Goldthorn. Oh. Let's check out the mitigation. Lovely. Oh, hey, everybody's invited to the party. Look at that mitigation, baby. Block. Dodge. Block. Parry. We need more mitigation. This is not enough. We'll get more later on. Oops, and I just dodged the wrong guy. Let's grab the wolf too, why not? Everybody's welcome.
You can kiss your ass goodbye. You were screwed.
I don't think so. I don't think so.
Lovely, lovely.
What drew me to the non-hardcore server was the fact that on the Alliance is that I wanted to play a Paladin, and that on the Alliance side, the population was dropping. It was actually starting to decline. And if you go to Doomhowl and you jump into Stormwind in the Alliance, it's pretty empty. Like it looks pretty bad. Like I didn't want to be on a server where I felt like the auction house wasn't going to be very well, although I wouldn't really be using the auction house there. But I just wanted to be on a server where I felt like there was a lot more people. I felt that was more balanced population. Where I felt like the auction house would be a little bit cheaper, be easier to get gear and stuff, and there'd be more people to group with. And you know, the Doom Howl, man. If you just, I mean, if you just look at it, it's pretty sad. So take a look at the statistics. It's pretty surprising. I mean, it's actually quite unbelievable. But if you go to Anniversary Realms and you look at NightSlayer, you can see that it's almost a perfect balance, which I love, right? The perfect, look at that. It doesn't get any better than that. Look at that balance. 50-50, 27,310 accounts, right? And then you look at Doomhowl, 83% horde. 83% horde. And look at the population. You only got about 1453 active accounts. All right, so the server, I mean, the Alliance side is just dying, and then NightSlayer is thriving, right? The only server that's doing better than NightSlayer, as far as the United, well, there is none. I mean, these are United States realms, so if we go U.S., right, NightSlayer is the most populated United States anniversary realm. So the choice is pretty simple. If I'm going to play a Paladin, I want to play on a server, you know, I want to play where there's actually people playing. Yeah, I don't understand why they don't. I mean, to me, factions should be locked at 45%, meaning if one faction gets to 55% and the other one drops to 45%, the 55% should be locked, and you shouldn't be able to create any more of that faction until the other one comes up. You know what I mean? And just you don't ever let them get more than 10% kind of out of balance. Like, you know, one would be 45, one would be 55. I've never understood that. There's plenty of MMOs out there that actually do that. So it doesn't really make sense that they don't do it. I don't really understand it. You know, it's just stupid. So yeah, but this server is dead even. The other server was the hardcore server. So the hardcore server is the one that's way out of balance, and that's mostly because of OnlyFangs. Remember, OnlyFangs is horde. So on Doomhowl, OnlyFangs is where most people were trying to play. You know, shows you how much the streamers can draw to one faction, right?
Lovely.
Yeah, we still need a lot more mitigation. We'll see. Yeah, when we get Skullflame Shield, that'll help. Obviously, when we get Uther's Strength or whatever, that's going to be pretty helpful, you know. So we'll see. And of course, when we get better shields and stuff like that. Yeah, I don't understand that appeal either. I mean, they're just a bunch of not all of them are bad people, but a lot of them are just there for your money. They're just trying to get your money, you know. Which I'm not really a big fan of, but it's all good. So my guitar never showed up today. FedEx still has never updated their thing saying that it's out for delivery. It just keeps saying it's on its route to Clearwater. So I'm guessing that guitar is not going to show up today, even though it was supposed to. Unless they delivered it to the office, which they shouldn't have, because it's supposed to be signed by me. Not supposed to deliver without my signature, so it's kind of weird. I should have grabbed more buff food. Crap. Oh well. All of your American friends have P.O. boxes?
Lovely.
To avoid theft? Gotcha. Yeah, well, I live in an apartment complex right now, so... You know, I mean, it would be nice to have P.O. box. Yeah, P.O. box would probably be a good idea, you know? We got the glyphed epaulets leather, huh? I can't remember how many more levels we got to go to. The true silver breastplate's going to be big. By the time we level 47, we'll be our AOB blah blah blah. I cannot talk. By the time we hit level 47, the AOE potential of this character will be pretty much fully online. We'll be able to do quite a bit of, you know, some pretty big pulls. You know what I mean? Because we'll have some of the certain items we need, and you know, so we'll be much more well positioned to pull in bigger pulls. Shit, 1 minute. I'm gonna try to get the Onyxia buff if I can. It should be available in 22 seconds, possibly. Of course, we get the we get Flurry X at 42. That's actually going to be massive. I forgot about that. So, ooh, nice. So Flurry X will be huge because I put life stealing on it. It'll be absolutely massive. So massive. That in. I need to sell that. So, male. What is it? Stamina? Spirit? Okay. Okay. Oh, come on, Anixia. Drop Anixia.
Greetings. Safe travels. You need something? Light bless you.
No Anixia buff. I was kind of hoping that it would drop. The 888 Oni had to order your buff today. I guess no Oni buff. No Oni. No.
What can I do for you? Go with honor.
Oh well, it's worth a try. Yeah, good old UPS. It's this has not changed since yesterday. Like, your shipment was supposed to be delivered today between 10:15 a.m. and 1:15 p.m. It has said this ever since yesterday. It has said on the way to Clearwater ever since yesterday. Like, normally UPS would update this and say out for delivery literally, like, sometime during the day today, but so I'm going to assume that either something got screwed up or they're just going to move the delivery tomorrow. Who knows? But one of the reasons I sat at home today was because I was waiting for the delivery. I didn't want to have to go somewhere, go out and do something and not be here because I got to sign for it, so. I didn't even look at Bitcoin today. I think it went down. I think it's still going sideways. It went down a little bit. It's still going sideways. 86,000. Yeah, I think it's gonna go up next month. I think this month is just gonna like go sideways, and I think next month it's gonna jump. Yeah, I think it's gonna just go sideways this month, and then next month it's gonna jump like about 20K, like you said. Yeah, I mean it's the one thing. The one thing with Bitcoin is there definitely is when you talk about market manipulation, that's definitely a real thing. Man, I was seeing some shearing. Maybe I had maybe I had the other monitor selected. Yeah, I mean, like, there's so much market manipulation. There's people that have a ton of. I think there's people that have like exchanges who have like tons of Bitcoin, and I think they move their Bitcoin from one address to another, and so it looks like they're selling it. I'm not sure how they're doing it, but it looks like, but they move it, and it looks like people panic. It's like, oh, all this Bitcoin's being moved to this address because someone's going to sell, but then they don't sell it. They're just moving it. There's that, and then there's people that sell, but they just plan on buying back in in 3 days. So they'll buy at a certain price because they have so much money. They don't care about losing like a little bit of money here and there because they have so much. Someone who owns, like 20,000 Bitcoin, they can sell like 3,000 Bitcoin, and then just make the price drop, and then 3, 4, 5 days later come back and buy 5,000 Bitcoin. And then there's just the retail people, the lettuce hands that are stupid, right? The retail people are just dumb, and they're like, oh my god, Bitcoin dropped 10%, I better sell my Bitcoin. Yeah, everybody, there was a great chart, Vols, and it was there was a really good chart, and it said, and this was for February, like it was like February 20, it was one of the 20 days, like February 25th or 26th or 27th. And it said, and it was a big outflow day, like one of the days in February where there was a big outflow. Like we had 300 million or something of outflows or something. It's one of the biggest outflows for Bitcoin in recent memory. And they showed a chart, and it said, out of all the people that sold Bitcoin on that day, only anyone who had held that Bitcoin for more than 6 months, right? Out of all the people that had held Bitcoin for more than 6 months, out of all those people that held Bitcoin for more than 6 months, only like 1% of them sold. So basically like 99% of all those millions and millions and millions of dollars of Bitcoin that was sold that day was by people who had held that Bitcoin for less than 6 months. It just goes to show you that people who have been around and understand the market, they're not selling. The big whales and stuff, they're not selling. Not unless they're just trying to manipulate the price. because and the funny part is, Vols, yeah, and I've only held since when's the first time I bought Bitcoin? Like maybe a year and a half ago. So I've only been buying it since I think late 23 or early 24. No, I think it was late 23 or mid 23 is when I started buying Bitcoin. I was late to the party. I wish I would have started a lot sooner. But there's people like my team that I work on at work, right? My team of programmers. Smart people, you would think, right? They're programmers. They're supposed to be intelligent people. When I talked about Bitcoin, the reaction I got from the people on my team was unanimous. It was like they treated me like I was a leper, like leper unclean, like, oh my god, you bought Bitcoin. Ugh. You know what I mean? Just the reaction was so just negative and disgusting, and I'm like, and so the funny part was, remember, I made a bet with one of those developers. I made a bet with him about 4 months before the end of last year. I made a bet when Bitcoin was around 55,000. Remember that? I said, I bet you by the end of this year, Bitcoin will be over 100,000. And I made that bet when Bitcoin was 55,000. And he's like, yeah, whatever, sure. We'll bet lunch. We'll bet, like, if I lose, I'll take you out to lunch. And if I win, you take me out to lunch. And of course, I won that bet. You know what I mean? And I really wish I had the Flurry Axe now, because Flurry Axe makes such a big, huge difference. Flurry Axe is so massive for Paladins. Like it's gonna spike my damage. It's gonna spike my self healing. It's just so huge. And I've never had Hand of Reckoning. I've never had the Hand of Justice. And I've got to get it. Like my single biggest goal for this character is to get Hand of Justice. That's my single biggest goal, because I want to see what kind of difference it's going to make. That extra chance to proc a swing. And then what if I had like Iron Foe, which also has a chance to proc, 2 additional swings? Although the proc rate on that, from what I hear, is incredibly low.
You can kiss your ass goodbye.
But yeah, definitely got to get Hand of Justice on this character. Well, just because they're so damn good. They're like ridiculous. Flurry Axe is like, I think Flurry Axe, in my mind, and I am obsessed with Flurry Axe. I think Flurry Axe is the single most, outside of like legendary items, I think it's the most overpowered item in the game. I think it's that powerful. When you have a level, think about it. When you have a level 42, and I'm talking about overpowered as far as its level, right? When you think about an item's level 42, and yet it still outpaces anything else. So like out of any level 60 gear, that comes from, questing or maybe like, 5-man dungeons, I still find Flurry Axe to be almost superior. Yeah, Blink Strike. Yeah, Blink Strike's really good. Blink Strike's really good for rogues, for sure, Blink Strike, that weapon's so huge, man. And you would think Iron Foe would be the best, but I know a lot of people who've gotten Iron Foe said it is. They think it is better than Flurry, but it's not as much better as you think it would be, which is kind of weird. I think it probably just doesn't proc as much. Yeah, it doesn't. Yeah, I hate those weapon skins that are like super huge. They just look silly, They look silly.
Lovely.
I love these rogues they're all trying to get the chests. They're all fighting over the chest to use to lockpicking, They're all Fighting over lockpicking these chests, it's hilarious, man. Oh, man.
Lovely. Lovely.
Would have been nice if we could have got the dragon buff. So it does make quite a difference. Oh man, he respawned already. I see how this is gonna go. I see how this is going.
You can kiss your ass goodbye. Lovely. You were screwed. You were screwed.
Like I wanna laugh. Yeah, yeah. Just wait till I get to 60, man. We're gonna be pulling all of Blackrock Depths in one pool. I do have to do the tier 0.5 upgrade quest so we can get the Soul Forge. That takes time. It takes like a couple days just to do the belt, the bracers, and I think the gloves. And then I've never gotten past that. Because the next pieces are actually they're like way more difficult to get. But since this is a PvE server, I mean a non-hardcore server, I think we'll definitely go for the full. See if we can get the full set, which I think would be super cool to do. You know. It's a game. Hey, what's up? Is it time to relax, gamer? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Always. Yeah, I feel like I'm missing some buffs. What do you think? Hmm.
Lovely.
Oh, big pull. Nah, we didn't get the 3 over here. Interesting. You're playing a bit of retail? Yeah, I can't do retail. Whenever I play retail, I just do PvP, and I enjoy the PvP in retail because it's like way more fast paced. But Blizzard constantly like changes the classes like from like week to week almost. It's like ridiculous how often they like nerf classes and buff classes, and you have a class that's like really good one week, and the next week it's total garbage, and it's just can't stand that shit. And I don't like PvE, so. But the frenetic pace of PvP, it can be really fun when you really get skilled with your class, like really skilled. Like when I got really good with Protection Warrior, it was, I mean, the amount of like uber micro, you know, when I say uber micro, what I'm referring to is how fast I move my fingers through my rotations and my key bindings. Like if I like my hands are freaking like lightning, you know what I mean? You're like, I mean, the amount of abilities and buttons you're pressing. I mean, so basically, I guess it's APM, you know, actions per minute, right? It's insane, you know. I don't know if I have a good video of it. I mean, it's just some. You go like here. Let me show you this here. This may not be the best video for it. Let me take a look. I don't even remember. Well, what is? I don't remember what this one was. This is pretty funny. So here you've got like this is War Sun Gulch, right? So here I'm playing a Protection Warrior. This is War Sun Gulch, and our team's getting their butt whooped, right? So we're getting camped, of course. We're getting camped at our spawn. So I decide I'm just going to come out of the spawn area by myself and try to take on, you know, half their team probably. So I don't know how this is going to go because I don't really remember what happens, but let's check it out. So I've got a hunter trying to kill me, a priest, a druid. There's another priest over here. A DK.
Lovely. You can kiss your ass goodbye. You can kiss your ass goodbye.
Oh my god. Did you see my health? Look how low my health is there. I mean, I am almost dead here. Check this out. I'm at like 2% health, maybe 3%.
Lovely.
I get a little bit of assist there by priest throwing a powered barrier on top of me. So a nice assist by a priest there. I think that was a priest.
Lovely.
I get off a nice little stun there. I go for a little bit of a escape. Take out the hunter. Bye bye. Get a little fear action going on. We'll execute. Bye bye.
That's what I'm talking about, bitches. That's what I'm talking about. Come on, yeah, run, baby, run.
So what's funny about that whole thing is I started the combat from, like I said, there's like 4 or 5 people trying to kill me, and I basically turned. What was funny about this match is we were losing 1-0, and our team was getting camped by the graveyard. I mean, we were getting camped by the graveyard, and the cool part about this video is I single-handedly inspired my entire team. I'm not even joking. My entire team had given up. They were just sitting up there in the spawn. They weren't doing anything. So I jumped off the spawn to the far right side. Look at the mini map here. Here's the spawn right here. You can see like most of my team's on the spawn. There's like one rogue out here. He's probably stealth doing nothing. And they're camping us. I single-handedly jumped down, drew the ire of the enemy team. I had like 4 or 5 of them trying to kill me for like literally like minutes. Then my team finally said, you know what? Look at this guy. This guy, he's like the captain of the battlefield. He's like leading the charge. Look at this dude. We got to help this guy. We got to go in and help this guy. I inspired our team. And I don't know if we won this match, but I definitely remember that the whole outlook of this match changed because of what I did in the span of these 2 minutes and 47 seconds. I mean, you can see there's 4 people on me trying to kill me. There's a priest over here. You can look up at our spawn. In our spawn, there's at least, a hunter, a mage. I don't know what this blue one is, and a priest.
You can kiss your ass goodbye. You can kiss your ass goodbye.
They must have been so mad when they get me right here down to like 2% health, right here. They must have been so mad. Look at this. I'm at like 2% health.
Lovely. Lovely.
And the priest throws a bubble on me, and I'm like, let's wreck him. And right now, the priest realizes that I'm the person to heal. The priest's like, this guy's unstoppable. So the priest starts healing me. And then I'm like, now that I've got a priest like dedicated to healing me, I'm like, let's go.
That's what I'm talking about, bitches. That's what I'm talking about. Come on, yeah, run, baby, run.
I was getting into it.
Lovely.
Fucking asshole.
And now look, and now you see my whole team starting to rally around me. If you look at the party window here, you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's 7 people in range of me, 6 people in range of me, plus me 7. So the team rallied around me, and you know what I mean. And we're still down 2-0, but it was just interesting how the whole dynamic of the game kind of changed, just because I decided to say, hey, I'm not gonna sit here on my hands, you know, get in camp, you know, fuck these motherfuckers. I love my character's transmog. I thought my character's transmog was badass. So yeah, so that was cool, right? And this is my, and so here's another. Let's check this out. This is actually a 2v2. The 3. This is actually. Whoa. Whoops, another window. This is actually a 3v3 arena skirmish. Okay. And this is when I hadn't done hardly any arenas on a protection warrior. So, and I knew that queuing for skirmishes as a protection warrior would piss a lot of people off. Because another thing about retail that I really, really, really hate is that Blizzard does not cater to tank builds in PvP at all. In fact, it's so bad that if you watch like tier lists for PvP and retail, almost all the people that do the tier lists will shit on protection builds. They'll put a tier at the bottom that says F tier or tank tier, and they'll just go and they'll grab all the tank specs and they'll just throw them down there, you know. And it's really stupid because there's so many other MMOs where a tanky build or a protection based build is really good in PvP. You know, you look at games like Guild Wars 2, you look at games like Elder Scrolls Online, you look at games even like Black Desert Online. All of these games have very protection based builds that work really well in PvP. So it's just stupid. Once again, showing Blizzard's like complete idiocy, which is they do all the time. You know, Blizzard is like some of the decisions they make just, you know, they don't make sense. It's like you've got 3 talent specs each class has 3 talent trees, right? Every talent tree should be in some way viable in PvP, right? That's because that gives you flexibility and that makes the game fun. So having the protection spec, it doesn't have to be like an annoying spec. It doesn't necessarily have to be a character that's just really hard to kill. It could be a character that helps defend his teammates. Maybe, you know, they can't really kill anybody, but they can buff their team. They can protect their team. They're really good at absorbing damage on the front line. You know, so they're a necessary component of the PvP battlefield. And that's the way it works in a game like Throne and Liberty, for example. Same thing with Terra with the Lancer class. If you have large scale PvP of like more than like 10 or 20 people going into a battle at once, everybody's a little bit hesitant to jump into the fray because they're just going to get blown up. But if you have a class like a Lancer, or if you have a class like in Throne of Liberty, a class with a shield, you know, somebody who can jump in and initiate combat, even in Ion, like in Ion with the Cleric class. Cleric was very tanky. You know, you have a class there that can initiate the fight, and they kind of bait the enemy to come in, mitigate a bunch of damage, and then your DPS classes can kind of come in and start, you know, killing people. So just Blizzard is, again, the amount of stupidity on their part just boggles the mind sometimes. You have a game that's so good, has so much promise, it has so many good things. There's so many good things in World of Warcraft retail and in World of Warcraft Classic, but there's so many bad things. I mean, the list of bad things in retail is just it's so long. I mean, it would take me like a week just to probably talk about it all. So here I was doing a 3v3 arena with a protection warrior. And again, like I said, I was always very hesitant to queue in arenas, in arena skirmishes as protection, because I knew I might get flamed, basically. And I did get flamed quite a few times, but luckily some of the times I didn't, you know, so. But honestly, as a protection warrior in skirmishes, I was like 10-3. I had like 13 skirmishes. I think I only lost like maybe 3 out of the 10 or something. Or maybe, I don't know. I won most of them. So watch this. I decided to just run in against them 1v3. Here it comes. So this is actually me commenting on this. So I actually went back and commented on it. So this is me talking about it. So I'm like, screw this. Boom, I'm going in. Look at that. I just came in. Me versus all 3 of them. They pop all their DPS abilities. Which is kind of what I was talking about. You know, you're in a 3v3 arena and people are a little bit hesitant to engage. So as a protection warrior, I have the ability to engage and not really get blown up that right away because I have a lot of defense, you know, obviously. Look at that. They're popping all their abilities against me. Yeah, so what I did, and this works really well in Battlegrounds. And it's funny because in Battlegrounds, this is actually a much more acceptable role. The role of a tank in Battlegrounds is to kind of jump in and get the enemy to try to focus on you, especially if you can get them to blow a lot of their big cooldowns. And that's what happens here. I jump in, and the enemy immediately starts dumping tons of their major DPS cooldowns on me, which is a big mistake, really. Went in. Look at that. I just came in. Me versus all 3 of them. They pop all their DPS abilities. Look at that. They're popping all their burst abilities against me. Maybe not all of them, but they popped a lot. They tried to ice wall me too. And so of course I pop all my defensive cooldowns. I did. I did pop every defensive cooldown I had. I had to. It's the only way I could stay alive.
God, I can't even move, man. It's like, holy shit.
That ability there, that Shadow Priest ability is vicious.
You can kiss your
Jesus
ass.
Christ. Yeah, I see that.
Polly down.
I was feared so much. Yeah, one of the things about retail that I absolutely can't stand is and I don't like this in any MMO is I don't like loss of control of your character. I think CC is fine. I think there's nothing wrong with having CC in a game, but when you are CC'd for like, you know, if you go through like a minute of gameplay and like 45 seconds you're CC'd, that's just stupid. You know, that's dumb. I mean, there's nothing less fun in an MMO than it being sitting at your computer not doing anything because you can't do anything. You're just sitting there. Like, well, I'm feared. And you come out of the fear, well, I'm blinded. You come out of the blind, well, I'm sheeped. You know, that's not really fun, right? So, you know, the CCs in WoW, are, especially in retail, they're just far too long, and there's far too many of them. And of course, the homogenization of classes has really destroyed class identity and class uniqueness to the point where it's really bad. That's one of the things that makes playing like a protection warrior really fun because it's so unique. You know, there aren't a lot of classes. There really is no class that really plays like a protection warrior. Now there are classes that are tanky like a protection warrior, but they have different abilities. Like the Guardian Druid is really, really good. Was really good in running flags and stuff, and they were pretty much unkillable. And I would run into Guardian Druids in Battlegrounds, and I would fight them one-on-one, and it was pretty much I couldn't kill them, they couldn't kill me. And there were certain maps that the Protection Warrior was really good at, and there were certain maps Protection Warrior was just terrible at. Like the Silver Shard Mines was a terrible map for me. I was pretty much useless. I don't know why, but certain maps were just really bad. You'd think Silver Shard Mines would be halfway decent, but the problem with that map is since it was pugs, like nobody would ever recognize that I was a tank, and they wouldn't understand that, hey, if you come with me, we can cap a cart, right? Like I can literally defend the cart really well, but if it's just me, I'm gonna get CC'd. Like if it's just me, I'll get blinded by a rogue or something. They'll take the cart and they'll steal it. But if it's me plus one other person, then usually both of us won't be CC'd long enough for the other team to flag the cart, but
in this match. And so much CC.
yes, this match was kind of funny. I mean, it was a lot of me charging around, trying to figure out who to hit, trying to just annoy the casters, I was on the Shadow Priest a lot here, just trying to interrupt and prevent them from free casting. But you know, as you can see, I'm constantly rooted, constantly feared, CC'd, you know, stunned, like stunned, rooted. I went from a root to a stun to a root. Now I'm not rooted, but I'm slowed. Now I'm into a slow.
God, it's like you can't even do damage to these guys.
Yeah,
It's like, holy
it's like
shit,
root,
you know?
stun, root, slow.
They were really beating up.
I'm still slowed. Finally, now you know, rooted again. I'm still slowed.
You can kiss your ass goodbye.
You know. And at this point, I decided to go away from the Shadow Priest and get on the Mage. But you know, again, I don't like the Shadow Priest free casting on me, so I went back to the Shadow Priest. And again, fear. Had to trinket that. And now he's going to go into dispersion. And so I kind of swapped to the Mage because he happens to walk right in front of me. We can do some pretty good damage, but of course then I'm feared. Then I'm knocked back. You know. And this is the healer. He's just healing his team. Get back on the Shadow Priest, and then I get feared. Slowed, of course. Rooted. Still slowed.
You can see there, I'm trying to get both of them with Shockwave, which I did, of course.
Yeah.
When I use Shockwave, I try to stun at least
Knock
2 people
back.
every time.
Yeah, you're trying to get as many people with your Shockwave as you can.
And I'm keeping Thunderclap down, which roots them.
Stunned.
You can see our healer, Lol Kitty's really low on health. I'm going to guess that she must have drank at some point. See, Lol Kitty's... her mana's really low. Actually, our pressure wasn't too bad.
Actually, no, we had some
crazy damage to work on my team.
Yeah, we had some pressure there. We got the Shadow Priest really low at one point, and then he just feared me, psychic ordered me. Again, you know, whenever I look at that, whenever I go after the Mage, I get rooted, stunned, you know, rooted, stunned.
I'm basically just trying to CC and root him, and try to hope that we can get one of them out of position from his healer.
And then feared. Yeah. The hard part about going up against this team was that, you know, they have 2 priests and a mage. So one of the priests is healing, the other priest is shadow, and then the other is a mage. So they have so much CC. You know, you've got fears, you got mind controls, you've got roots. It's tough. And none of them are easy to kill.
We almost had this guy killed right here. It was really close, and then of course he probably disperses or he gets.
Yeah, the Shadow Priest is the easiest.
Yeah, he disperses, so
would be the easiest target out of these to kill.
We had him in some trouble there. I was getting frustrated from getting feared so
I remember I started getting really frustrated in this match because I was getting rooted so much.
Roots.
And I can't remember, but I thought one of our teammates actually dies. Like, I thought one of my team dies before the enemy team even. Let's see.
Oh man, if I could just have Thunderclap here, I could have got all 3 of them.
Yeah, I'm trying to root all of them.
Now they're really starting to get our healer low.
Yep, our healer's at this point.
Just can't do enough damage. There's not enough pressure.
Yeah, Lol Kitty's completely
I couldn't win because I just don't do enough DPS as prot.
Yeah, I thought we were going to lose this match. But now notice their priest is dying.
Did I almost think of that?
Look at their priest almost died there.
I had an execute there that was over 1 million damage. That was pretty good.
Oh, did I? It says I hit an execute there for 1 million. I didn't see that. Let's see.
Over 1 million damage. That was pretty good. But did I almost think of that? Do enough DPS as prot.
Okay, here's my damage, I think. No, there it is. There is my execute. It hit for 1.187 million.
But did I almost think of that? I had an execute there that was over 1 million damage. That was pretty good. Come on.
And here again, the mage is almost dead.
Almost got the mage here,
And then he got healed. Got a big heal.
This is the Shadow Priest. Every time I get on the Shadow Priest, they just fear me.
Yeah, fear.
Big ass long fear.
Fear, fear, fear.
And this is where I think the match ends here pretty quick.
Yeah, our healer was I mean, look at Lol Kitty. Our healer was literally the last like 2 minutes here. Like, she had no mana. I don't know how she was healing people.
Come on, there we go.
Rooted. Interrupt. Yeah, I went for the interrupt
Our
there.
healer's really low now.
Stunned the mage. I stunned the mage. I'm rooting the mage.
Shockwave is up. There's the shockwave.
And I stunned the... just trying to hold him in place. So he can't...
Trying to kill this mage.
And then he gets that
Slow.
mirror images.
Now he's just about down.
What's interesting here, though, is that their priest was out of range there. This is the healer. Their shadow priest was out of range there. You can see he's out of range. Must have been trying to get a drink or something. I don't know.
There, finally.
Yeah, oh no.
So we got the kill on that mage at the exact same time that Lol Kitty, our healer. Actually, no, look, here's our healer's almost dead. So our healer drops. Our healer's dead here. Look at that. So right now it's a 3v2. But then we drop
Finally.
the mage. Then we drop the mage. And now it's Shadow Priest, Healing Priest versus Warlock, Protection Warrior. Which is really funny. Yeah, the Warlock was really good. This Warlock on my team was fantastic. I mean, he was just crushing people. And I focusing more on the...
Almost dead.
Focusing more on... Yeah, the Warlock's almost dead. Look at that.
Warlock's health is.
Yeah, the Warlock on my team was dying.
He dispersed.
Oh man, the Warlock's almost dead. Almost dead. Okay, now check this out. So now the Warlock on my team dies, and it's me versus 2 priests. So it's just me now versus 2 priests, a Shadow Priest and a Healing Priest. And I killed them.
I killed him right as the Warlock.
Yeah, I killed the Healing Priest, and it's just me versus the Shadow Priest, and that's pretty much a no contest. He has no chance.
Who is the last man standing? Who is the last man standing, baby?
I was pretty excited about that. So interesting. You take a look at the game, and you can see that I did 72 million damage, which is interesting because their mage only did 85 million. So I wasn't that far behind a mage, right? And I'm a protection warrior. Their healer did 131 million healing. Our healer did 131 million healing. So the healing was the same. Their healer did way more damage than our healer. Our healer did basically no damage. But our warlock, my warlock did 133 million. Actually, their shadow priest did 139 million. But then the difference in this whole match really is mostly if you look at my healing. Okay, I did 81 million healing, right? So if you add my healing and my priest and my healer's healing together, you get 212 million. You know, so that's a lot. You know, or if you add our teams, I guess healing, you know, what is it? It's like 118 to 249 million healing versus the other team at 150 to 13. So we had about 80 more million healing than the other team. Damage was pretty similar. So they actually had more damage than we did. But so that's pretty interesting. I really enjoyed playing Protection Warrior, and it definitely probably pissed a lot of people off. That's why a lot of these streams, because Blizzard they don't like protection. Like, they don't like tank specs in PvP. That's why I titled my videos a lot of times "The Hated, Maligned, Ridiculed." Blizzard hates me. You know, I put those in the titles because they obviously don't. Like, you know, here's me. Check this out. This is me going up against a Fury Warrior, just to show you a Protection Warrior versus Fury Warrior. No contest, by the way.
Fuck me.
So here, Warrior charges me, right? And he's full health. I'm not, right? But watch this fight. Just watch my health. Just watch my health. It barely drops. There, it dropped a little bit. And then what else? Do we have any other ones? I don't know if we have any other good ones. Ooh. So this was... I guess this was me playing Fire Mage. I think on... I don't know what... It says this is me playing Fire Mage. Oh, yeah, so this is me playing Fire Mage, I guess, on Wrath of the Lich King? On a Wrath of the Lich King server or something? So check this out. This is a pretty funny clip. So I'm running away. This guy's, this DK is trying to get me. I think it's a DK. I go invis, and I decide, you know what? I'm going to go back and I'm going to kill that DK. So I go back. And here he comes. He death grips me. I don't know how but he knocks me back. But notice how my health is full. But notice as I'm falling back, I just start teeing off on him. Boom! Boom! My pyroblast just knocked him into next week. Listen to the reaction. Listen to the squelch I let out here. Oh yeah, so you play retail WoW, you play Cataclysm WoW, Wrath of the Lich King. I mean, it's then you go and play this. The cool thing. I mean, vanilla has there's things about vanilla that are really cool, but there's things about it it's very slow. It's a very slow paced game. PvP is very slow paced, but that's cool. But as this server progresses to the Burning Crusade and then on to the Wrath of the Lich King, the one thing that you'll see is the combat will get a little bit faster. Characters get more abilities, and you'll see that combat just gets faster and faster and faster, and that's why, like in retail WoW, and whatever the current version of retail WoW is, I can't even remember the current expansion. It's extremely fast paced,
Lovely.
Yeah, but watching those clips of me playing retail makes me want to go play retail, but it only makes me want to play PvP. It doesn't make me want to do anything else in retail, because I only like PvP in retail. I don't like the PvE aspect of it. So
You can kiss your ass goodbye. Lovely.
I think the one thing with vanilla that makes vanilla a little bit different. A little bit different, not like a lot different, but in vanilla, because you don't have like as many abilities and the combat's a little bit not as fast paced, I think there's an emphasis on gear and professions. Like when I think about PvP and vanilla, what separates a really good player from a really bad player? A lot of times it's just, I mean, obviously you have to know how to play your class, but a lot of the time it's knowing the gear, like what gear to use and why. Which, like, for example, the protection paladin, I know there's certain pieces of gear that I have to get. I mean, I have to. It's like if I want to, and of course for protection, it's not so much for PvP, but it's more for PvE. But there are definitely certain things. I definitely want my flurry axe. I definitely want, true silver breastplate gone into maybe the demon forged breastplate. I want, skull flame shield. I want, if I can get, hand of justice. There's certain things that are really good. And I don't think retail is quite as much like that. Retail is more like everybody pretty much And PvP has the same gear. Like people aren't running around with weird trinkets and shit. Everybody's just getting the same PvP gear, getting it enchanted. There may be some slight variations in how they're enchanting it, but not much. There isn't that much variation. Whereas in vanilla WoW, this game's been out forever, and I still think there's a ton of opportunity for people to build stuff that's never even been seen before. I think there's totally like stuff that hasn't even been discovered in vanilla that could be good for PvP. I'm not even lying. I think there's stuff that could probably still be discovered, because there's just so much unique gear in vanilla WoW. Even just this character, like when I was building this character just today, I said, well, I've been going stamina and, and intellect, but I just hit level 4, I just hit 40, and I'm equipping plate gear, what do I want to do with my rings? What do I want to do? Do I want to try to stack more dodge? Do I want to go for maybe more strength? Or do I just want to keep going with intellect and stamina? And so just for fun, just for kind of shits and giggles, I already had these boots that have +2 dodge on them. So I went ahead and grabbed, instead of like a normal ring, I actually went with a ring of eluding, which is +1% dodge, +5 agility, because I wanted more dodge. I actually wanted more dodge. And so if you look at my defense, my dodge chance right now is 11.92%, which is pretty high if you think about it. Especially if you're pulling like 6, 7, 8 mobs, more than 1 out of every 10 attacks, I'm gonna dodge. And if you're fighting like 6 mobs, you're gonna dodge a lot of attacks. That's a lot. So. Even here, you can just see I already dodged 1 attack, dodged another attack, block, parry, block.
Lovely.
Block.
You can kiss your ass goodbye.
Block. And this is nothing. Like when I get higher level and get better gear, I'll be blocking and dodging a lot more. Well, I'll be blocking a lot more. Like way more.
You were screwed.
But yeah, just like how I play like a melee hunter. Like I play a hybrid melee hunter in vanilla all the time, and I've been able to do BRD runs and out DPS rogues and mages in BRD. So there's so many people think that you have to run certain builds, and I'm not a believer of that at all. I think that there's plenty of stuff that hasn't even been fully figured out. I think there's lots of opportunities to come up with bizarre stuff, bizarre builds. Even now, after the game's been around for 20 years. And that's really what makes me play. That's what makes me play the game. Is trying different stuff. It's just constantly trying different things. That's what makes me play the game. If I didn't have that flexibility to try different gear and different builds, I wouldn't be playing the game anymore. Like I said, I've never had Hand of Justice, and I want Hand of Justice. That's my single biggest thing I want for this character is Hand of Justice. Because I want to see how that affects my AoE potential and my survivability as well.
Lovely. You can kiss your ass goodbye. You can kiss your ass goodbye.
Anyways, I'm gonna probably take a break. I'm still struggling with a headache from yesterday. I don't know what's going on. Still having problems with it. But yeah, I would love to see.
Be careful.
I would just love to see Blizzard come out with like a Classic Plus or something new that's but still in the vein of vanilla, and, or even, you know, they probably would never do it. But man, if Blizzard could even just come out with like a World of Warcraft 2, or just a, you know, to go to World of Warcraft and go back like, you know, 2,000 years, and you just move the setting back 2,000. Get rid of the fucking space and the Draenei and all that bullshit. You know, keep it, you know, men, elves, and, you know, and dwarves, and just high fantasy, in my opinion. But just go way, way, way back in time.
Well met.
And just create a new WoW, similar to the current WoW, in that, you know, build a new game engine, obviously, with better graphics. And then, you know, make the map obviously is going to look a lot different. But you know, I could talk about it for days, but you know, the leveling in WoW was never hardcore. Like some people who play World of Warcraft think, oh yeah, this vanilla WoW was like hardcore leveling. I mean, it was slow leveling. It really wasn't. Like WoW was, you know, people who created World of Warcraft, they looked at EverQuest and Lineage 2 and they said, we want to, yeah, mostly they looked at EverQuest and they said, we want to make an MMO that's more accessible to the general public. You know, AKA one that's easier to level, more social, you know. All my herbs. All the herbs. We have a lot of herbs. Yeah. But we were looking at, I was looking at Shakaden builds for Burning Crusade, because when we progressed to Burning Crusade, I was trying to think what Paladin builds would be kind of fun in PvP, and I've actually never done Shakaden, but I guess Shakaden was pretty good in the Burning Crusade for a Paladin, and I never have played it. So I just kind of was digging up some old videos to kind of see what it looked like. So here's like, I don't know why this was only from 2 years ago, but man, this the video looks like it was taken from 2004. I mean, UI is all big and the resolution is really tiny. Okay, so he goes in, he Hodges. I don't know. I don't even know what the Shakaden build is. It's Holy Shock, right? I mean, I'm a complete noob when it comes to this stuff. I think we have another video here where we had the build pulled up. Let's see this one here. So I think this is kind of like the build. Maybe this is Shakaden 2v2 arena gameplay and quick overview. Let's see.
Improve healing of Holy Light. While there are situations where you might want to heal using Holy Light, they're very, very rare. Most of the time you will be spot healing with Flash of Light. Cleansing is also going to be really important, and that's why we take a point in Purifying Power. Blessed Life, Unyielding Faith, and Pure of Heart are predominantly PvP talents, which reduce the chance to get feared, cursed, diseased, and take reduced damage. These are an absolute must-have. All other
I wasn't familiar with this one. Did you see that ability here? Blessed Life. I never go into the Holy Tree on a Paladin, hardly ever, so I was not even really familiar with the abilities in TBC for Paladins. Do we have a private server? Is there a Burning Crusade private server? What is the best Burning Crusade private server? We've got Endless. I don't know what the best one is. March 2024. Warman's TBC realm appears to be a popular choice among players. Okay. Okay, so they've got TBC. There's 4,774 players playing on Anixia. Okay, so what we need is download, and we need. Well, they don't even have the TBC. I don't even see the TBC expansion here. How can they have a TBC server, but they don't have a TBC expansion? Okay, well. What is the best? Yeah, I'll have to figure out. Let's see. Modern client, work in progress. What is this one? Modern client. One year ago. Stormforge. I think I've heard of Stormforge. Yeah, so here they've got 1410 online and but yeah, I think it'd be fun. I think it would be fun to install like a TBC client and try to level up a paladin and try out the Holy Shock just to see the PvP build, just to see like what it's like in preparation for this server going into TBC. I'm sure this server's got a long ways to go yet before it progresses into TBC. WoW anniversary realms release schedule. I think I've got this in my Discord server already. I think it's this one here. Let's see. So you can see here. Okay, World of Warcraft anniversary, spring. These are 2025, right? Okay, so Burning Crusade is winter, spring. So we're thinking like November, probably, like maybe November of this year. Burning Crusade Classic on the anniversary realm would probably come out. So we got quite a bit of time before we see TBC on these anniversary realms. I'm going to go back to here and say best. WoW, Burning Crusade, private server. I don't know if we'll find this. This is 1 month ago.
These are the best World of Warcraft.
And metrics. This guy's always playing private servers.
Private servers for this year, the ones that I am or will be playing throughout 2025. Some of them are not out yet, but will be released within a few months. These include a number of Project Ascension's realms, namely Bronzebeard, a progressive realm that is currently in closed alpha state and will be launching live sometime in 2025. Ascension is no.
So Ascension is doing a Classic Plus? I did not know that. Apparently Ascension's doing a Classic Plus realm? Wow. I gotta look that up. I did not know they were doing that. Ascension Classic Plus Alpha Announcement. Bronzebeard, the original 9 class realm. Prepare for a new adventure. A fresh start server never before seen on Ascension. Play as the original 9 classes and embark into a revitalized Azeroth, progressing through the World of Warcraft's most iconic trilogy, Vanilla, The Burning Crusade, and Wrath of Lich King. Enhanced with Ascension's Classic Plus content. But what is their Classic Plus content? Enter the world as a warrior mage. Okay, same classes, right. Andrew, with new race and class combinations, new spells and talents, mystic enchantments tailored to the original classes. Experience new class, new professions, over 20,000 plus new items, new spells, new rare creatures, new dungeons, mythic, enhanced raids, both new and upgraded battlegrounds and even entirely new ways to play hardcore trials and adventure mode. New Ascension plus realms dedicated solely to the original 9 classes. And let's check.
Some believe this world has nothing more to offer. But one new spark can rekindle old fire. I must hunt soon. New power waits for you to wield it. New trials challenge you to conquer them.
I wonder if they're pulling their new abilities from their, because Ascension had these other servers that they did that were like really bizarre. I can't remember what it was called. Ascension had this other server that was like really like all new stuff, new abilities. I wonder if they're pulling some of those abilities into this.
New mysteries long to be discovered.
Enhance your skills. Okay, so enhancement specialization, mystic enchant collection. So okay, so this looks interesting. Flame on, power over. Okay, so this is kind of similar to some of the stuff that they already had on Ascension, but you have these different enhancements that you slot. So okay, it's interesting. And you've got, and it takes orbs and extract. And I'm sure that you can buy some of this stuff on the shop for real world money.
Mysteries long to be discovered. New legacies to build.
Arcanite Reaper of the Bear.
Old adventure beckons you. The familiar woven anew. The dangers you thought you'd mastered. Hold new secrets to discover.
Expanded raid mechanics. Mythic plus vanilla dungeons. New battleground, Twin Peaks. Original high-risk PvP.
A new adventure awaits you. Bronzebeard is a brand new upcoming realm where you'll play as any of the original 9 classes and embark into an expanded Azeroth, progressing through the entire Warcraft trilogy, Vanilla, TBC, and Wrath of the Lich King. Enter the world as a warrior, mage, rogue, hunter, shaman, warlock, priest, paladin, and druid with new race and class combinations, new spells and talents, and mystic enchantments tailored to the original classes to unlock specs you've never been able to play in vanilla before. Play the way you remember and in brand new ways, and challenge.
Blood Tracker Deadly Bite. Legendary and Mystic Enchant. Dealing damage with Mongoose Bite or counterattack applies Deadly Bite. So this is a new hunter ability. Deadly Bite. So basically, you have these enchants that actually give you effects on your current abilities. I don't know if it gives you new abilities. And then here's another one. Dealing damage with Immolation Trap. Explosive now grants you Firewatch. Your next Mongoose Bite, Raptor Strike, or counterattack deals additional damage. So it looks like you can spec into different things that make your existing abilities have different kind of effects, which is cool. I mean, that's kind of cool.
Brand new ways and challenge all of Ascension's Classic Plus content. Introducing Bronzebeard. Bronzebeard is a realm where you'll explore new quests, new professions, over 2,000 new items, new spells, new dungeons, enhanced raids, both new and upgraded battlegrounds and arenas, and even entirely new ways to play like hardcore trials, adventure mode, or the Mana Storm. On Bronzebeard, you'll discover more ways to play the classes you love than ever before. Play new race and class combinations like Troll Druid, Human Hunter, Night Elf Mage, and more. Harness the power of TBC and Wrath spells in vanilla to unlock more ways to play new.
I would say the character models, look like these. Look like, are these Cataclysm character models? But they look better than I remember.
Class combinations like Troll Druid.
They look better than
Combinations like Troll.
Interesting.
Druid, Human Hunter, Night Elf Mage, and more. Harness the power of TBC and Wrath spells in vanilla to unlock new playstyles.
Yeah, they look like Cataclysm models.
Like Arcane Mage and Retribution Paladin can thrive. And discover new talents added to the base Wrath of the Lich King talent trees to bolster specs that didn't have support. Holy
Melee Hunter.
Talents like Afterkindling, Blessed Vengeance.
Increases all damage done. Increases critical strike damage of your holy fire. Okay.
Radiant Fury and Divine Accuracy so that you can play the smite build you've always wanted. Hunter gets talents like Relentless, Deadly Focus, Savagery, or Hunting for Sport.
Relentless damage from Mongoose Bite, Raptor Strike, Counter Strike pierces through 7% of target's armor. Mongoose Bite and Raptor Strike have a 10% chance to enable the use of counter attack. This chance is doubled for critical strikes, decreases the cooldown. It also decreases the cooldown. So increase critical strike chance of Raptor Strike, Mongoose Bite, and counter attack. That's pretty good, obviously. And 100% increases the damage of your melee abilities on targets under 35% health by 6%. Raptor Strike has 30% chance to increase the melee haste of all party and raid members by 20%. Jesus.
To open up a true melee survival build, or harness two-handed weapon specialization for enhancement shamans to unlock new two-handed playstyles. That's just the surface of new spells and talents.
Yeah, I mean, on the surface, this looks pretty interesting. But the problem with WoW is there's so many private servers. It's like, it's so hard. Like, there's so many private servers. There's so many, like, bastardized versions of the game. Like, this is a completely different version of WoW, right? There's so many different variations of the game that it just divides the player base too much. It's very hard to like want to go and play on some of these servers only because you're a little bit like for example, like even like Turtle WoW, you know, and people used to ask me all the time, why are you going to play Turtle WoW again? You're going to play Turtle WoW again? And I did try to play Turtle WoW a couple weeks ago, but the client was just too clunky. You know, just that old 1.12 client it just doesn't run smooth. Especially on Turtle WoW servers. For whatever reason, their servers are they're not smooth. So
brand new ways to play your favorite.
So this is interesting. I mean, this would be something that I honestly would probably be interested in playing. It says 1.5 rates realm. Alpha begins on December 21st. It says 2 months ago. So is that what the edited was? It was edited 2 months ago. 2 months ago, or is it going to be like December of this year? I don't know. Anyways, interesting. But I still think I would be interested in playing a TBC server just for a little bit, just to play around with the Paladin. So maybe I think the best server to be on would be Warmane. Just because Warmane typically has different XP rates where we could level up, hopefully, pretty quickly. Let's go to the forum. And where is it? I've always thought that there are servers. Here we go. So yeah, so Nixia is 5x. And I don't know if BlackRock is 1x. But so this is a 5x, you know, it's 5 times faster leveling, pretty much. Just like Lordaeron's is 1x, Icecrown's 7 times faster leveling. BlackRock TVC, uptime 19 hours. And they're both pretty balanced. Nixia. Yeah, I mean, 4,600 players. Thanks. Yeah. I might set up a TBC client tonight and just log into Nixia here, and we'll try it out. But I probably won't stream it. I just want to jump on there real quick and see what it looks like, how well the server runs. We'll give it a go. And really just in preparation for the anniversary realm that we're playing on right now, NightSlayer, because that's going to be going into TBC. I would like to kind of get prepared for that a little bit ahead of time as far as knowing what I'm actually going to play. But anyways, my God, I have way too much stuff open on my computer right now. What we got going on here? Oh yeah, what's this? This is something you're out of my protection paladin on Skull Rock. I had gone through the pain of upgrading my bracers to Soulforge. I had upgraded, let's see, some of my other items, the gauntlets to Soulforge. I guess I didn't get the belt. No. Yeah, and then here's my talent build I was using for that character. Yeah. But anyways, I'm just blabbing. I'm just yakking. I'll catch you guys later. I'm gonna take off, and I'll talk to you maybe tomorrow. Hope everybody's having a good one. Peace out.